It'll be fine by dusk, but I'm telling you, baby. These things eat at your bones and drive your young mind crazy. But when you place your head between my collar and jaw, I don't know much, but there's no weight at all. And I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. 'Cause if I say I miss you, I know that you won't. But I miss you in the mornings when I see the sun. Something in the orange tells me we're not done. To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? Poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. Need to hear you say you've been waiting all night. There's orange dancing in your eyes from bulb light. Your voice only trembles when you try to speak. Take me back to us dancing this wood used to creep. To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? I poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? I poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. If you leave today, I'll just stare at the way the orange touches all things around. The grass, trees, and dew, how I just hate you. Please turn those headlights around. Please turn those headlights around.
I said goodbye, I drove away. Said I ain't the one, lied to your face. For about half a mile, all gas, no brakes. Thought I was right, my mind was made. Then I see your lipstick on a Starbucks cup. Got me thinking I might have messed up. Can I live and never kiss those lips again? And I wonder, years from now, will I think about how I should have turned around right now? I wonder, am I gonna regret this? Never gonna forget this, as good as it gets. Then why am I watching her fade in the rearview? Think about all we've been through. Oh, will I ever love like I love her? Yeah, I think about how I should have turned around. And I wonder, years from now, will I think about how I should have turned around right now? I wonder, am I gonna regret this? Am I gonna forget this? As good as it gets, then why am I watching the fade in the rearview? Thinking about all we've been through. Oh, will I ever love like I love her? Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder. Watching the fade in the rearview. Thinking about all we've been through. Oh, will I ever love like I love her? Yeah, I wonder. I thought by now I'd have it figured out, how not to make the easy things so hard to do. I bet that I'd be further down this road if I could read the signs that point me to the truth. I never planned on being nothing but a cowboy, but somewhere I picked up this old guitar. Girl, all I can say is that I'm sorry if I get kinda careless with your heart. All the headlights, all the midnights, chasing all that empty, still ain't got it right. All the crazy, all the gypsy, I guess all I'm saying is forgive me if I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still learning to be human. So far I've been good at burning bridges, strike a match and ride right out of town. Bless your heart for never trying to fix me, or quit me, or slow me down. All the headlights, all the midnights, chasing all that empty, still ain't got it right. All the crazy, all the gypsy, I guess all I'm saying is forgive me if I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still learning to be human. All the highways playing outlaw, rolling out of nowhere with the brakes off. All the crazy and the whiskey, waking up and wondering what hit me. Oh, forgive me, I really don't know what I'm doing, 'cause I'm still learning to be human. Still learning to be human. shine a little shade. I ain't ready to go today, but when my time comes and if I had it my way, I'd be sitting on a lake like glass, catching largemouth bass, just my boy and me. Or maybe on a 50-yard line, watching Alabama whoop up on Tennessee. Or maybe on a front porch swing, something cold to drink and mama's hand to hold. And a song on the radio would be a hell of a way to go. I remember thinking that day I couldn't picture him going any other way.
About 4 weeks ago, I headed over to Arches Tire and I had to go on a trip, and so I left my vehicle there, and Cade changed 2 tires for me, and when I went back to get the other 2 because they had to order them, I noticed that the spare wasn't put back where it usually went, and I told him, hey, well, you have that up there. It's way easier for you to get the spare up there if you could. And he looks at me and he says, well, if you could tell me where the effing thing goes, I could put it in there for you. And so I kind of showed him where it was, kind of put it underneath there, and he goes, you know, these Dodge Caravans, they really are pieces of crap. And I wasn't sure if I was talking to Rod at that moment or if it was Cade. But here's what I loved about Cade, is he was himself around me. Most of the time people would say, hey, I'm not supposed to swear around you. Or, oh, sorry, I used the wrong language. You knew when he was having a good day. You knew when he was having a bad day. And you knew when he was having a great day. Some might call that wearing your heart on your sleeve. What a trait to have. And he lived with all of his heart. Would you pray with me? Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, as we begin to say goodbye this morning to a son, to a grandson, to a brother, to a friend, to an uncle, Lord, I just ask that you would give us peace today, and that you would give hope. Be in our midst. In your name we pray. Amen. If you'd grab out your obituaries. Cade Shane Myrick was welcomed into this world on October 8th, 2000 by his parents Michael and Aaron Myrick, older sister Ashton Renee, and twin brother Blaine Ryan, 59 minutes prior. This day may have been the spark of the competitive nature Cade would exhibit in every facet of his life. A short time later, they were blessed with their baby sister, Davin Dene. Growing up between Glasgow and Nashua, Cade had a love for all things outdoor. Hunting with his family instilled a deep love of the Montana Highline. Growing up surrounded by cousins, Cade learned the importance of family. Cade grew up a typical Montana boy, riding his bike all over town, swimming, playing sports, hunting, and fishing. He even squeezed in some time to be a cowboy, a little bit. Cade's intelligence, wit, kindness, and athletic ability presented at a very young age. Growing up between gyms and ball fields, you could always find Cade playing sports. Sports were a large part of Cade's youth, and ultimately, he would become a draw for Scotty fans throughout his high school career, where he would go to be a 7-time varsity letter winner, all-conference in football, 2-time All-State, 3-time All-Conference in basketball, All-State, 2-time All-Conference in track, All-Conference in golf, and lettered in cross-country. It was during this time Cade also picked up golf, playing with his dad and brother, Grandpa Rod and Grandma Arlene. The family moved to Queen Creek, Arizona in 2018, where Cade continued to excel in school and athletics. His academic accolades and baseball ability would move Cade to Spokane, Washington, as well as Dickinson, North Dakota on scholarships. More than athletic, Cade was coachable, a trait commended by team leads. In early 2021, Cade was diagnosed with testicular cancer. He completed his treatment in Glasgow, where he could be near his family and gain a competitive advantage against cancer. It worked. Cade rang the bell cancer-free on October 25th, 2022. Cade was a family guy. He loved his family with his whole heart. You could often find him sitting in the stands with his family before the games while his friends joined the student section. While he had an undeniable and unique bond with his twin brother, he also was very close and had special relationship with his sisters. Because having them wasn't enough, Cade was also blessed with countless cousins to help him get in trouble. His grandpa Red and grandma Connie were very special to Cade, and he carried their memory with them always. Cade moved back to Glasgow in 2022 to be close to his family and worked at Arches Tire. He enjoyed watching his younger cousins in their activities and socializing in the community where he grew up. You could catch his infectious smile from across the room, and his sense of humor will resonate with us forever. Everyone, sometimes even the wall, had a great conversation with Cade. Cade passed tragically on the morning of September 17th, 2023, in an accident north of Nashua. Cade is preceded in death by his great-grandparents, Walt and Darlene Murch, Elmer and Bonnie Frank, James Archambault, and Muriel and Gerald Rennick. Grandparents Red, Elmer, and Connie Witten, and his cousins Nick Kolstad and Stephanie Murch. He is survived by his mother, Erin Myrick, father, Michael Myrick, and wife Stella, brother, Blaine Myrick, sisters, Ashton and Devin Myrick, and grandparents, Rod and Arlene Archambault. His aunts and uncles, Brittany and Kurt Cornwell, Kelsey and Keel Stroman, Crystal and Brian Cahill, James, Andy Witten, April and Jesse Block, cousins, Colt, Clay, Grace, and Bennett Cornwell, Jude, Esmond, and Archie Stroman, Mason, Luke, and Aaron Cahill, Mackenzie and Riley Witten, Keegan Skullrood, and Cameron Block. Great aunts and uncles, Peggy and Will Lochner, Lori and Daryl Kolstad, Dave and Debbie Murch, cousins, Tyson, Willie, and Michaela Lochner, Brody, Renly, and Chet. Chris Kolstad, Jennifer and Heather Murch, special cousins, Darcia, Kent, Brett, and Kevin Schindler, special friends, Summer and Brandon Herster, Greg Page, Troy Blunt, Jeff and Amy Hahn, and Kimberly, Kenan and Griffin Krasnow, and numerous friends and teammates.
When the sun had left and the winter came and the sky fall to only bring the rain, I sat in darkness, all broken hearted. I couldn't find a day, I didn't feel alone. I never meant to cry, started losing hope, but somehow, baby, you broke through and saved me. You're an angel, tell me you're never leaving, 'cause you're the first thing I know I can believe in. You're holy, 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 holy. I'm high on loving you, high on loving you. You're holy, 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 holy. I'm high on loving you, high on loving you. You made the brightest days from the darkest nights. You're the riverbank where I was baptized, cleansed from the demons that were killing my freedom. Let me lay you down, give me to ya, get you singing, babe. Hallelujah. We'll be touching heaven. You're an angel, tell me you're never leaving, 'cause you're the first thing I know I can't believe in. You're holy, 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 holy. I'm high on loving you, high on loving you. You're holy, holy, what kind of church you're holy.
I'm honored to be here today to share my thoughts and reflections of a remarkable young man, Cade Myrick, whose life was stripped away from us all too soon. I want to extend my heartfelt condolences to Aaron, Mike, Ashton, Blaine, Davin, and the rest of Cade's family and friends gathered here today. Before I get started, the sudden loss of Cade reminded me about a promise that I had made to myself a long time ago after having experienced a similar event in my life. That promise was to take the time and tell the people in my life how much I loved them and what they meant to me. We have this misconception that our time here is under our control, but in reality, it is not. Cade's passing is a stark reminder of that, so I'd like to challenge each of you here today to take that time, tell your family, your loved ones, your friends, and those who made a positive influence in your life, how much they mean to you and how much you love them. We are celebrating Cade's life, the memories he made with us, and his impactful impression on our lives. Most of you know me, but for those of you who do not, my name is Greg Page, Coach Page, and I was an assistant boys basketball coach at Glasgow High School for 8 years. It was during my last 3 years of coaching where Cade's and my journey began. It was from that moment a bond of mutual respect and admiration started to grow. When I envisioned Cade, the first thing that comes to mind was his swagger, his walk. He walked with confidence, chest out, like a purpose, like there was somewhere that he needed to be or something that he needed to get done. He had that smile or grin on his face that he always had. And if he caught your eye, he might greet you with some witty, off-the-wall, humorous remark or comment that would make you laugh or wonder, or as Brandon shared with me the other night, Cade, get out of here. Cade was sharp that way, and his presence could capture an entire room. He was kind-hearted, fun, and a great person to hang out and visit with. He loved spending time with his family and friends, especially if it centered around a sporting event or social event. There was never a dull moment or memory with him. When I received the news of Cade from my son Jake last Sunday, it felt like my heart had been ripped into pieces. I was in shock and total disbelief. There was just no way it could be true or real. Didn't want it to be. I had just seen him out at Sunnyside a week or so back, golfing with Rod and Arlene like he often did. It was something Cade loved to do, and I know he cherished those moments with them tremendously. They were a big influencer and supporter in his life. I just think he wished Rod would have let him win a few more times. He would always say, "He's kicking my butt, he's kicking my butt." The golf course was actually where I would run into Cade most of the time, especially in the summer. And I would always take that opportunity to check in with him and see how things were going or what his next plans were. He would golf sometimes with Jake, and once in a great moon, I might tag along for the ride. It wasn't that long ago that Davin joined us for a round one night, and I remember being so impressed with Cade's patience and how he interacted with her, and he offered advice or instruction. He would catch me up on Blaine and the rest of the family and repeatedly would ask me if I had seen Blaine lately. He was just marveled by how Blaine had outgrew him, and he always talked him up. He was probably a little jealous, but I know he loved his brother, like I know he loved his entire family, unconditionally. It was the start of Cade's freshman year of high school basketball back in 2015 that I had my first real conversation with him. At that point, I knew very little bit about him as a person and a player. I had seen him in a couple of different sporting events, maybe even umpired a game or two, but that was all. To be honest, I would have to say that my initial impression of Cade was that he was cocky. He was cocky. He was definitely a talented and gifted athlete, and things seemed to come easy for him, but I wasn't sure what his coachability or what his attitude was going to be like. The relationship started out slow. Cade was moved up to varsity right away, and I spent a lot of my time with the JV and C squads. But before each season got underway, Coach Broughton and I would have a team meeting with the players to talk about team and individual goals, and we would have them write them down. I can recall reading over Cade's freshman goal sheet. It's clear as day. One of the comments he made was that he had wanted to be an all-state selection. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, that's a pretty lofty goal for a freshman. And I was just thinking, we'll see how that goes. Little did I know. Here's what I learned about Cade over the next 3 years and how I came to respect him as a player and a young man. The first thing I saw in Cade as a player was his fearlessness and how he attacked and challenged the upperclassmen. He may have only been a freshman, but he played with the confidence of a senior. I cannot think of another player that I coached who was so quick to the ball. Cade demonstrated the drive and commitment to see his goals come to light. He missed that all-state selection as a freshman, but he went on to achieve that goal during the next 2 seasons as a sophomore and a junior. Cade led by example. He walked the walk, and he put in the time to make himself and his team better. He was often the last one to kick out of the gym each night after practice. He took responsibility for his actions, and he led with integrity. Cade played through adversity and had an unwavering competitiveness about him. He fought through many physical injuries and pain to be on the floor when it would have been much easier for him to sit on the sidelines and watch. I don't know if there was a body part that Cade didn't have wrapped up or bandaged at one point during his career. I recall a home game where he collided heads with another player diving after a loose ball. I'm pretty sure it was one of his own teammates. It might have been Tayson. Not 100% sure about that, Tayson, so I apologize. But anyways, he had this huge cut over his eye. Blood was pouring down his face, going onto his uniform. His eye was starting to swell up fast and starting to close. I grabbed the med kit, and we headed to the foyer. It took a minute, but the bleeding eventually slowed down, and I was able to get him patched up with some gauze, wrapped his head up with some pre-wrap and athletic tape, got a new jersey on him, and got him checked back into play. Aaron, I don't know if you recall that, but I think you were there to help me with that. Yep. He literally looked like a character out of The Return of the Mummy that was out there running around on the floor. It was Cade. Nothing was going to keep him from getting back in the game. Cade played unselfishly. He was a motivator and celebrated the success of his teammates, especially if it was Blaine, knocking down a three or scoring on an old school post-up move on the other team's big man. Another thing that caught my eye or my attention early on with Cade was that he didn't like to lose. You could see it in his demeanor after a loss, especially on the bus ride back home to Glasgow. He would go silent, and I could tell he was processing and recapping the game in his head, most likely trying to figure out how he could have played better. He may have been reading the stat sheet. I don't know. So, sports meant something to Cade. He just wasn't there to participate. He was there to win and to do his best. He carried a lot of weight on his shoulders, always willing to take blame or criticism. Not sure how, but he managed to absorb that and would come back ready to play the next night. Cade was calculating and could adapt to different situations. He understood how the game was to be played. He could read X's and O's and was able to play with poise in critical moments of the game. Cade quickly became our go-to guy whenever we needed a score or a defensive stop. He always accepted that challenge, and many of our sets and special plays were drawn up to get him an open look. One play in particular we had, I recall, was LeBron. This play was set up to get Cade a backdoor lob pass over the top. I'm pretty sure it had to have been one of his favorites. From the moment we put it in, there wasn't a single game where at some point he would whisper in my ear, "Hey, coach, we should run LeBron." It probably only worked half the time, but it sounded cool, and maybe just for a moment, despite the score, it took him to a higher place of enjoyment on the floor. He had high expectations for himself, and he didn't like to disappoint his coaches, family, friends, or fans. Cade started most games out with butterflies in his stomach, masked by that calm and collected demeanor that he showed to the crowd. At the start of each game, Cade and I always shared a moment right before they announced him for the starting lineup. In the beginning, I would try to say something motivational or uplifting to get him pumped up. But by the time we got into that junior season, all we needed was that double fist bump and a look. Our connection was meaningful and shared, passion about sports, leadership, and always striving to be a better version of ourselves. How could a coach not grow? To respect and love a player with these qualities. With that said, I would like to end with a quote from an all-time sports legend, Vince Lombardi, that I feel embodies Cade's spirit in how he approached life and the game. He goes on to say, "There is only one way to succeed in anything, and that is to give it everything." Sorry. Rest in peace, Cade. You will be forever missed, but never forgotten. Coach Page.
Hello, everyone. My name is Troy Blunt. For those of you that don't know me, my heartfelt condolences to Michael and the family. Oh, this is a tough one. Such a huge loss to the family, friends, community. I'm very honored to speak today. I lost my brother almost a year ago, and this scripture comforted me, and I believe it could be of comfort to all of you. It's Psalms 34:18. The Lord is near to those who are of a broken heart. He saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. Cade. He was a special individual. We had a short but very powerful relationship. He made an impact on me, and I hope I had a positive impact on him. We had a unique relationship filled with mutual respect for one another. We communicated through Messenger. Our friendship was mainly about two things that I believe we both held dear to our heart: basketball and hunting. We talked basketball, we talked hunting. I'm going to talk some basketball first. I'm a former coach, and I recognize talent when I see it. I've been around the block a few times, and I know a good player when I see it. Cade was a very good athlete, multi-sport athlete, the best kind. He was a stud. I never had the opportunity to coach Cade, but I did plenty of coaching against him. We had many conversations in the opposing locker room about how we could slow this kid down. He was that guy, a guy that could give team problems, and he gave us our share of problems. He was a do-everything type of guy on the court. I appreciated his game, and I respected him. He was a leader. He was a workhorse. You could definitely tell by his jersey at the end of the game. The guy was completely drenched in sweat always. I don't know if he was pouring water on himself at halftime or what. but the jersey was always dripping in sweat. He was the type of guy you wanted on your team. Very coachable with tremendous talent. Cade would message me from time to time and ask me questions. I respected that, a guy that wanted to learn and grow. Tells me a lot about what type of guy he truly was. All his questions were about basketball or hunting. One day he messaged me about hunting, asking me questions and seeking information. I opened up to him and I told him pretty much everything I know. We traded stories, we traded pictures, we even agreed to hunt together, but we could never zero in on a day. Our conversations were genuine. It truly was a friendship. When my wife and I became aware of his medical condition a while back, we donated immediately to help him out. My heart hurt knowing what he was battling. We gave willingly because I respected this kid. He messaged me afterwards and was very grateful and appreciative. It really made me feel good. That's exactly what it's all about, helping each other out no matter what. I want the family to know that I'm here to help in any way I can going forward. This is such a true honor for me. I'll close with this. We may never have all the answers to all our questions, but if we walk by faith, trusting in the Lord, trusting and believing that his ways are greater and higher than our understanding, then we can continue in this life, one day at a time, and live our lives to the fullest. Cade would have wanted that.
In the early 2000s, Volkswagen came out with a commercial in which a guy walked out of a coffee shop and he had a coffee in one hand and a donut in the other, and all he simply did was smile at the first person he saw as he walked out of the coffee shop. And for the rest of the commercial, we get to see how that smile made the first person smile, and then that smile went to the next person and to the next person and all the way down this whole entire block. And then at the end of the commercial, it zooms out, and we see this man getting into the car of a Volkswagen Bug. And it says that the question said, "How did you start your day?" Now, many people went on to say that the Volkswagen commercial wasn't about as much as selling cars as getting a whole bunch of people to realize that smiling made a difference. So the question I have for you today is, can a simple smile really change somebody's day? And of course, the answer is yes, and even more so from somebody we love. The problem I feel today is that we don't always recognize those smiles for what they are until they're gone. The commercial has long been gone and done playing, and we slowly forget sometimes the value of a smile. Or do we? Because one of the first persons, if you ever asked what was Cade like, it was always that he had a smile to give you. He was an infectious person, always singing way off key, always talking way too much, In fact, actually, somebody told me this week that it was considered diarrhea of the mouth. Moving constantly. His smile will not be easily forgotten. But his life reminds me of a verse that somebody shared with me this week in 2 Timothy 4:7. And it says, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. I want to share the three aspects of that verse with you today, looking through the lens of Cade's life. And I want to start backwards. I have kept the faith. When thinking about keeping the faith, I instantly think about the question that Jesus was asked one day, and the person came up to him and said, what is the greatest commandment? And Jesus responded, the greatest commandment is to love God with all of your heart, your mind, and your soul. And the second is to love others as you love yourself. You see, keeping the faith is not about you. It is about allowing your ability to change somebody's day with something as easy as a smile. Being who God created you to be. Cade's life was not about himself. Spent endless times calling people as he was going to and fro. Being able to just enjoy the company of somebody as much as he possibly could. And as I said at the very beginning of this, that Cade was himself. He was who God created him to be. And so how do you keep the faith in moving forward is understanding that this is not about you, but about others. And understanding who God has created you to be and what he wants you to do. The next part of the verse says that I have finished the race. And I'm going to tell you, all week long I've been trying to figure out, or I wish that I could say that I've solved the 100% death rate in the world today. But I can't say that because it's not true. All of us have a finish line. In fact, actually, at the beginning of this year, since June, I've gone to a funeral for a 2-year-old and a funeral for a 98-year-old, all in between. And so what does it mean that when we say I've finished the race? It means that all of us have a race, and we don't know when the finish line is. But it's not the finish line that matters, it's the race that matters. And so when it comes to the finish line, we look back and see the impact on the lives that we've had on others around us. And I'm here to tell you today that the race was all of you. If you didn't run the race well, there would be an empty room. There would be none of us to sit here and cry over the loss. For some of us, we might actually outlive the people that we've been racing with. And that's okay too if it comes to some of our lives in which there's nobody left in the room. But today, we can look at each one of us and know that Cade ran the race well. And the last part, I have fought the good fight. How do we get to the point where we know that we're fighting the good fight? I think it's having to be honest with ourselves today that when we lay to rest a loved one, we have to take stock of our own lives. And we have to find out where we are not fighting the good fight. In fact, in Psalms 139, the psalmist cries out, and the whole entire psalm is about how God is everywhere that he goes. That no matter what he does, he's completely seen, and God is with him. And he even says, how precious are your thoughts about me, O God. They cannot be numbered. I can't even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand. And I think the question comes, how do we fight the good fight? Is when he ends, that he knows all of this stuff is going on about us. And he ends by asking God then, how do I fight the good fight? God, would you search my heart? Would you test me and talk to me in my anxious thoughts? And would you point out anything in me that offends you and lead me along the path of everlasting life? When it comes to a day like today, how we fight the good fight is that we realize that it is about others. And we so need God to tell us where we need to start fighting the right way. And so Cade's life is a reminder to us to fight the good fight, to finish the race, and to keep the faith.
What's going on, mama? Something just dawned on me. I ain't been home in some months. Been chasing songs and women, making some bad decisions. God knows I'm drinking too much. Yeah, I know you've been worrying about me. You've been losing sleep since 93. I thought you should know that all those prayers you thought you wasted on me must have finally made their way on through. I thought you should know I got me a new girl down there in Jefferson City, and she lets me fish whenever I want to. Yeah, I'm still proud of where I came from, still the only damn son. Can you believe I'm on the radio? Just thought you should know, thought you should know, thought you should know. Oh, by the way, mama, didn't mean to ramble on you. How's everything back at home? Yeah, how's that garden coming? Is that still doing dumb shit? And how'd he keep you this long? Yeah, I'm sorry that I called you so late. I just miss you, but anyways, I thought you should know that all those prayers you thought you wasted on me must have finally made their way on through. I thought you should know I got me a new girl down there in Jefferson City, and she lets me fish whenever I want to. Yeah, I'm still proud of where I came from, still the only damn son. Can you believe I'm on the radio? Just thought you should know, thought you should know, thought you should know. Yeah, I know you've been worrying about me. You've been losing sleep since 93. I thought you should know that all those prayers you thought you wasted on me must have finally made their way on through. I thought you should know that I really like this girl down in Jefferson City, and turns out she's a lot like you. Yeah, I'm still proud of where I came from, still the only damn son. The bus is leaving, so I gotta roll. Just thought you should know, thought you should know, thought you should know.
get where I'm going, on the far side of the sky, the first thing that I'm gonna do is spread my wings and fly. I'm gonna land beside a lion and run my fingers through his mane. Or I might find out what it's like to ride a drop of rain. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will shed the sins and struggles I have carried all these years, and I'll leave my heart wide open. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, don't cry for me down here. I'm gonna walk with my granddaddy, and he'll match me step for step. And I'll tell him how I've missed him every minute since he left. And then I'll hug his neck. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will shed the sins and struggles I have carried all these years, and I'll leave my heart wide open. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, don't cry for me down here. With so much pain and so much darkness in this world we stumble through, all these questions I can't answer, and so much work to do. But when I get where I'm going, and I see my Maker's face, I'll stand forever in the light of His amazing grace. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm
You can have the small talk, you can have the hate, you can have to check your phone each time you get a little break. You can have the lonely, you can have the bang, you can have the TV full of stations that tell you how to think. But the smell of old wood bleachers and the word of hometown preachers being rich was her and a cheap six-pack. Yeah, the shine of a new summer barefoot baseball with my brother, first time freedom with the windows cracked. I want that back. You can take away the judgment, Take away the means, and take away the wasting time on things you won't care about in years. And take away the drama, take away the shame, and take away the broken hearts, but just don't take away the smell of old wood bleachers and the word of hometown preachers. Being rich was her and a cheap six-pack. Yeah, the shine of a new summer, barefoot baseball with my brother. First time freedom with the windows cracked. I want that back. Sometimes I want the world I knew, when all it took to get me through was half a tank, nothing planned, parking lots, petty, and the smell of old wood bleachers and the word of hometown preachers. Being rich was her in a cheap six-pack. Yeah, the shadow of a new summer, barefoot baseball with my brother. First time freedom with the windows cracked. I want that back. I want that back. I want that back.
Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above. For a moment, all the world was right. How could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. Holding you, I held everything. For a moment, wasn't I the king? But if I'd only known how the king would fall, hey, who's to say? You know, I might have changed it all. And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. It's my life, it's better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. When I got the news today, I didn't know what to say, so I just hung up the phone. I took a walk to clear my head, and this is where the walk-in led. Can't believe you're really gone. Don't feel like going home, so I'm gonna sit right here on the edge of this pier and watch the sunset disappear and drink a beer. Funny how the good ones go too soon, but the good Lord knows the reasons why, I guess. Sometimes a greater plan is kind of hard to understand. Right now it don't make sense. I can't make it all make sense, so I'm gonna sit right here on the edge of this pier and watch the sunset disappear and drink a beer. So long, my friend, until we meet again. I'll remember you and all the times that we used to sit right here on the edge of this pier and watch the sunset disappear and drink a beer. Drink a beer. Drink a beer. Once in a while, someone comes along, that one in a million heart, so pure and so strong. They can face up to the tears and somehow still find a smile. We only get them every once in a while. Once in a while, someone has the eyes, that one in a million look that never tells lies. They can get you on your feet to walk that extra mile, but we only see them every once in a while. That's why we call them heroes. That's why we know their names. And once you've heard their stories, you're never quite the same. That's why we call I can, you can too. Once in a while, I still hear his voice, that one in a million sound, like two laughing boys. He would hate it if we cried. That never was his style. Oh, we still miss him every once in a while. Find a smile, but we only get them every once in a while. Oh, how I miss him every once in a while.
I don't know why God always takes the good ones first. And man, I've tried to be strong and carry on, but damn, this hurts. And I just wish that I could talk to you again somehow, some way. Even if it's for a moment, so I can hear you say, don't cry for me, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm better than you know. And this life can be a shorter ride, so don't waste it on sorrow. And just hold on to those moments and the memories we shared. We're both headed for the same place anyway. I just beat you there. I know they say, just give it a little time, you'll be okay. But that might be true. It don't really help me today. And we ain't supposed to question the man upstairs, but there's just so much I don't understand. It just don't seem fair. Don't cry for me, I'm alright. I'm better than you know. And this life can be a shorter ride, so don't waste it on sorrow. And just hold on to those moments and the memories we shared. We're both headed for the same place anyway. I just beat you there. And as each day goes by, I get a little bit stronger. But that don't stop me from wishing you were here a little bit longer.
when I think of you, like I know you'd want me to. And I know you're watching over me in everything I do. And all those things I never got to say, well, I'll send them with this prayer. Then look up, wipe my tears, and raise my beer. And I'll see you there. And I'll see you there.
It's perfect outside, it's like God let me dial up the weather. Got the whole crew here, I ain't seen some of them in forever. It's one of those never forget it, better stop and take it in kind of scenes. Everything's just right, yeah, except for one thing. You should be here, standing with your arm around me here, and cutting up, cracking a cold beer, saying cheers. Hey y'all, it's sure been a good year. It's one of those moments that's got your name written all over it. And you know that if I had just one wish, it'd be that you didn't have to miss this. You should be here. You'd be taking way too many pictures on your phone, showing them off to everybody that you know back home, and even some you don't. Yeah, they say now you're in a better place, and I would be too if I could see your face. You should be here, standing with your arm around me here, and cutting up, cracking a cold beer, saying cheers. Hey y'all, it's sure been a good year. It's one of those moments that's got your name written all over it. And you know that if I had just one wish, it'd be that you didn't have to miss this. Oh, you should be here, you'd be loving this, you'd be freaking out, you'd be smiling, yeah, I know you'd be all about what's going on right here, right now. God, I wish somehow you could be here. Oh, you should be here. Yeah, this is one of those moments that's got your name written all over it. And you know that if I had just one wish, it'd be that you didn't have to miss this. Oh, you should be here. You should be here.
On behalf of the family, words cannot express the gratitude they have for your presence today and the outpouring of love that you've shown them. And so today, can we ask that you would share a smile, and give a hug, tell a story of a good friend and what he meant to you. And so what's going to happen now is that we are going to let the family go, but we're going to ask that you guys would head all to the Sunnyside golf course, and the family will meet you there and celebrate with you. And so would you pray with me, and then we'll dismiss the family. Lord, would you grant us your peace today? Would you show us the hope that we have in being who you've created us to be, as well as to love others well? And so, Lord, I ask that you would show comfort and peace to the sorrowing hearts today. Walk with them. Show them your love. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Would you stand with me?
I appreciate y'all, yeah, I really do. Brought all these flowers and your black dresses and suits, but y'all know me, and you know the truth. That ain't me in that box there in front of you. Can't I just get an amen, and y'all just get out of here? I got the best view ever now that I'm way up here. Joking around with Jesus, catching up with Grandpa. Hurry up, preacher, I'm telling y'all you should be fishing with a cold beer in your hand. Instead of missing me here, y'all should be missing me there, high up in your deer stand. Save my truck and save my guns, and when they're old enough, give them to my sons. Don't let this stained glass shine on y'all too long today. And save the roses, save the roses. Don't waste them on me. I'll tell who you love, how much you love them. Don't just say it, nah, you gotta show every chance you get to know her better. Remember, forever don't last forever. Take it from me and my brand new point of view. The biggest regret of your life won't be what you did, it'll be what you didn't do. You should be fishing with a cold beer in your hand. Instead of missing me here, y'all should be missing me there, high up in your deer stand. Save my truck and save my guns, and when they're old enough, give them to my sons. Don't let this stained glass shine on y'all too long today. Time is so precious, it ain't gone away. You should be fishing with a cold beer in your hand. Instead of missing me here, y'all should be missing me there, high